Hey guys, Jesse here with another deck list. Um, I had way too much fun on Dueling Network with this really trolly but very consistent deck. It is Final Countdown. Um, I apologize in advance for making a profile for this deck and for running it. I'm gonna play it at locals um, this weekend and see how it goes. It's really fun. It's also really good and it's really trolly. I've I won like got my dueling network rating like 250 plus in a couple hours with this deck because I won so many duels. The most difficult matchup I'd say for it is like Naturias and Six Sams. Anything that runs Earth, basically, because Barkion and Naturia Beast just ruin the deck like super hardcore. Um, yeah, first turn Barkion literally is just a game loss. Like I lose to first turn Barkion if there's a smart player. I mean, first turn Nat Beast. I'm sorry, first turn Materia Beast is just game for me. There's nothing you can do. So I wouldn't say this deck is competitive because you need Final Countdown as your only win condition, like the only one. And there's really no other way to win in it. Um, but it's still like it's pretty good, and I'm having so much fun with it. People really hate me for it, but that's okay. I know it's trolly, and I'm aware that it's trolly, and it's still really fun. Um, anyway, I'm going to show you the deck list today. Basically, going to show you how it works a little bit. People think that it's autopilot, and that's kind of a misconception. Final Countdown decks are not autopilot. You have to know what to use and when to use it. Otherwise, you're going to waste all your resources and you're going to get OTK'd because in Final Countdown, you basically defend yourself every turn, stop being attacked for 10 of your opponent's turns, and then you win. That's it. It has nothing to do with life points, nothing to do with field presence. But usually your opponent will set up all this field. It has nothing to do with card advantage. You just gotta have as many cards in your hand as possible. But it doesn't matter whether your opponent has none at all or anything. There's nothing that you can do about it. But if you misplay one time and your opponent gets into your field, to your life points, they probably will OTK you because you've given them enough time for them to just have everything they need on the field to just run you over. Um, but otherwise, the deck is really consistent and pretty much, I think, almost the entire, about 95% of the deck is chainable. So that's what makes it so busted. Anyway, I'm going to show you the deck list. Um, for those of you who will just get upset because of trolley decks, I apologize, but the deck is really fun, and it's just the consistency is amazing in the deck. Like it really is. Especially if you get Final Countdown first turn, it's so difficult to beat this deck. It's really consistent. So anyway, let me show you the deck. I had to use my webcam again, so sorry, I haven't fixed my phone yet. Oh, here we go. Pretty sure that's the right angle. There. Yeah. Okay, so we'll start off with I still like doing it, even though Final Countdown is the whole point of the deck, I still like going Monster, Spell Trap, so we'll do that. So we'll start off with 3 Battle Faders. It's Battle Fader. Everybody knows what it does. You special him to end the battle phase and negate the attack and end the battle phase, and that's it. That's pretty much the only reason you have him there. So Battle Fader. 3 Swift Scarecrows. It's basically Battle Fader, but better, because Battle Fader can be warninged and Swift Scarecrow cannot. The only way to get rid of Swift Scarecrow is like Herald of Orange Light, or it's pretty much purely a monster effect, and that's it. This negates an attack and ends the battle phase, and that's it. These are freaking awesome. They're usually like a last resort kind of thing. So if you have these in your hand, you can feel safe for 3 turns. So it's really good. 3 Zero Gardenas. Zero Gardna is Wabuku. That's basically what he is. You summon him, and as soon as you end and it's your opponent's turn, he becomes live, and his effect is a quick effect. It's totally chainable. He also tributes himself, so it gets under skill drain, and you can chain it to Valor, because since it's a quick play, so it's freaking amazing. You can't chain to tributing, so once he activates its effect, he's gone. You have to like debunk him. That's like pretty much the only way you can stop his effect. So super good, super good. 3 Cyber Valleys. Cyber Valley is pretty much one of my favorite cards in this deck. You can summon him, and when your opponent declares an attack, he replaces himself. So that's amazing. Also, if you have any like a dead Battle Fader and you need more cards, you can summon him and then remove them both from play to draw 2. So that's you get fresh cards. So this card is amazing. And we'll go to 3 Deslakuta. Pretty much my favorite card in this deck. I mean, the pluses you get off this guy is amazing. Real quick, basically, when you flip summon him, he has to be flip summoned, you draw 1 card. And then once per turn, you can set him back face down. So every turn, you just set him, and then you flip him, and you plus, and you set him again, and the next turn you flip him, and then you plus, and you set him again, and it's freaking nuts. This card is so amazing because you have so many cards like Zero Gardna, Wabuku, Threatenings, Thunder Ruler to protect this guy, so he can give you pluses, and you get more and more resources every single turn. He's amazing. Oh, Deslakuta is so good. If you have 2, sometimes you draw too many cards, which is kind of bad too. You don't want to draw too many cards and have to ditch resources or set too much stuff. But Deslakuta is amazing. If he's ever dead, like if you flip him and then he gets Valored, you can always summon him and then remove them both to have them get replaced. So that's amazing. But yeah, Deslakuta is freaking, oh man, I love Deslakuta. He's so good in this deck. My personal favorite card that I like is Marshmallow. This is a popping format, with Insectors and Agents and Hyperion or whatever, but I still like this card because it's just, I feel that it's too good to not run. It's really good against other matchups, and you can side him out too. The only reason he's kind of bad that my teammate brought up is, he has a trigger effect that can be charioted or, yada yada. So I might go with, instead of Marshmallow, I might do, where is he? Here we go, Arcana Force, the Fool, because he has no negative effect. You stat him and he can't destroy a battle, and he has no effect, so he can't be chained. His effect can be chained too, and he can't be targeted like Spirit Reaper can to be destroyed, so Arcana Force is kind of better. But I still like Marshmallow. I just like him. That's pretty much the reason he's in here. He's good against other matchups, and I like it. 1 Spirit Reaper for the same thing. Sometimes I can still attack for the poke because people will side out the monster hate, so you can still attack for a poke. But yeah, Spirit Reaper and Marshmallow, sometimes they really help because they sit there. And you can keep drawing cards, and usually even though they can be popped, you'll have a Battle Fader or a Swift Scarecrow in hand anyway, so it doesn't matter, because even if they had to use a resource to pop it, and then you can still stall with the cards in your hand. And then 1 Grand Mall, because it's too good to not run in this kind of deck, especially since you don't really have to protect him because he gets that summon, because he goes back to your hand every turn, and if he gets warninged, that's good, because that means that your Battle Faders will not get warninged. That's 1 less warning out of the deck. Also, if there's a Synchro that's bothering you, like Nappies or Barkion or Sheehan, you can just summon and get rid of those guys. So this is great. That's all the monsters. They're basically 3 of each, except for Reaper, Marshmallow, and Grenmal. And we come to the win condition, final countdown. Pay 2,000 life points in 20 turns, counting the one that you activated it, you win the duel. That's it. In 20 turns after activation, you win. It's not continuous, so if they don't negate it like Solemn Judgment or something, then you win. If you get this first turn, it's almost impossible to not win. Like I said, Materia Beast and Barkion are like the biggest threats to this deck, and that's about it. Otherwise, it's freaking awesome. So Final Countdown, your win condition. 3, 1 Day of Peace. This card is amazing in freaking alternate win condition decks like Exodia or Magical. Well, I wouldn't say Magical Explosion, but Exodia or like burn decks, and you want to protect yourself. Like this card is so amazing. It's amazing because 1, it replaces itself, and 2, you can just play this card and then commit nothing to the field. You can leave all the stuff that you want to keep in your hand, and your opponent. This basically gives you a free 2 turns for Final Countdown. Like that's basically what it does. It's even more amazing that it replaces yourself. You normally don't care if you give your opponent a card because you run so much stall, so much chainable stall that there's almost nothing that they can draw. I mean, like there's like dark bribes, warnings are like the only thing, and those are warning's a limited card, and most people don't run dark bribe right now unless you're playing an anti-meta deck. So this is fantastic. Come to 3 upstarts. They thin the deck. That's it. The life point gain does not matter. 3 Pot of Duality thins the deck, and it's Pot of Duality is so necessary to either get or not get Final Countdown, because after you activate the 1 Final Countdown, the other 2 are now dead, and they kind of like suck to draw. Usually you maintain so much advantage at so many cards in your hand, it doesn't matter. But Duality is important to get exactly what you need. Duality is so important because sometimes you don't want a Battle Fader, or you don't want a Trap or something. You know, you want a Scarecrow, or you want a 1 Day at Peace, or you want to get Final Countdown, or you need to get Grand Mole to get something off the field. So Duality is amazing. And then we'll go to 1 Swords. I like Swords. If it stays, that means you get 6 free turns of Final Countdown, and it also means that you can save a bunch of your resources in your hand. You can get a bunch of draws with Deslakuta. You can leave this here and have your opponent waste an MST so they don't MST your stuff in the end phase. It's amazing. Traps are really simple. You have 3 Thunder of Ruler. It's like Threatening Roar, but you can only activate it during your opponent's standby phase. 3 Wabakus. And 3 Threatening Roars. And that's it. They all do pretty much the same thing. Wabaku, your opponent can still attack, but your monsters can't be destroyed by battle, and you don't take any death battle damage. These are all amazing with Deslakuta. Deslakuta, if you get like a threatening, or 2 threatenings and a Deslakuta, you're gonna plus like so much. It's amazing. So these cards are super necessary, and they're also freaking awesome. And they're all chainable. So that's the deck. It's 40 cards, of course. And I love it so much. It's super consistent. It's crazy consistent. It's bullshit how consistent it is. The side deck is still, I don't think it's complete. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 1 card off, and this is not the final side deck. I'm still working with my team to get the side deck finished. But it's pretty much all together. So I'm just going to show you guys. I'm actually missing 2 cards. I need 2 Tragodias. If anyone has any Tragodias are willing to trade, I need 2 for this deck, and I'll explain why. But for now, I have 1 Rivalry Warlords and 1 Goes and Match. Just for people like Junk Doppel and stuff when they want to synchro and go nuts. You can use this to stall for a while, and it keeps them from going like Quasar or any shenanigans like that. Monsters, you have 1 Gores. Gores is awesome because in Final Countdown, Game 2, your opponent is probably going to almost certainly side out things like Mirror Forest, Torrential, maybe Warnings, Dark Hole even. I mean, anything that's monster hate, they're pretty much almost certainly going to side it out. And Gores can be like a big surprise to your opponent, and you can either leave it there or you can actually like be aggro with it. I've never been aggro with Gores, but I do leave it there sometimes, and it's like sometimes your opponent has issues getting over Gores, so it's awesome. Double Jowgen. He's pretty simple. I mean, he stops special summoning, so if you're afraid of your opponent getting out crap that's going to pop your stuff, you can leave the Jowgen, or you can summon him and then use his effect to blow crap up, and then like set a Threatening Roar to protect him, and then get Deslakuta and plus, and so you don't lose anything off the discard you need to use to blow up cards. But he basically, you know, he's there to stop special summoning, and it's so easy to protect him. You have a lot of cards to protect your crap. Spells, we have double... See, I haven't even really thought about these yet. These are why these are in different sleeves. But double Twister, because I like Twister. Like in case you see Decrees, Decrees are like... They're not that bad, but they do slow me down, and there's chances where like I had to draw a trap heavy hand, and like Decrees really hurt. But I've been thinking about it. There's nothing that I would think I want a Twister, but for now, they're in there. These are basically replacing two Trigodias. Trigodia is the same reason, is in there for the same reason that I have the Gores, because it can be a huge surprise to your opponent, and also because you usually maintain like anywhere from 4 to 6 cards in your hand all the time, because you only need to use 1 per turn, so you pretty much always have like the same 6 or 5 cards you had from the beginning of the duel. So you can have a really powerful like 3,000, 3,600 Trigodia, and you can just beat face with it. Like I've won with a 3,000 Trigodia before, so that's amazing. But for now I have these Twisters in here. I'm just experimenting with them. Dark Hole, because your opponent will probably almost certainly side out Starlight Roads and anything to negate destruction. They probably almost certainly won't need to go Stardust, because why? You're not going to blow anything up. So you can surprise your opponent and just blow crap up that you don't like Big Beaters or like Barkion or something. Heavy Storm, this is another surprise that you use in the deck. It gets rid of those pesky back rows like Dark Bribe or Solemn Judgment and stuff, and it bait things out so they don't negate your traps and spells and your monster effects and whatnot. Double Smashing Ground, this is to bait cards like Xian and Lagia, and it gets rid of like Dolka, because Dolka really hurts because most of your stall is from monster effects. So this gets rid of those pesky cards. I need a third one, so there's going to be a third one in here. That's probably my 14th, my 15th side deck card is the third Smashing. And then you have 3 MSTs. And that's it for the side deck, but the MSTs are in there, so you can blow... Like, if your opponent runs a lot of, like, Dark Bribes or 7 Tools or anything that negates a lot of spells that has a lot of negation, you can just blow it up with MST. So they have back row, you just MST, MST, and then play Final Countdown, and it's there to bait out back rows. That's what it's there for. There's no extra deck with this deck because you don't need one. There's nothing that you would ever go for. There's no tuners that can stall. So, but like I said, the deck is freaking flaming consistent. I love it so much. It's really fun. I highly recommend, like, if you want to get easy turbo packs, or if you want to get your rating high in Dueling Network, play Final Countdown. It's very fun. You need to play it a few times before you get the hang of it, because like people think that this is autopilot and is not autopilot. You need to know what cards to use and what not to use. Otherwise, you're going to use all your resources and then you're going to get pounded in the face because you were not smart about the cards that you played. The only issue in this deck, which is not too much of an issue, but it's getting Final Countdown. Like, you need to get this card right away, which is why I've been thinking about putting in, taking out one final... My teammate suggested taking out 1 Final Countdown and putting in 2 Gold Sarcophagus. It's basically like adding in a 4th Final Countdown, but you don't... there's only 1 dead one in the deck, and you can use Gold Sarks to search out other things that you need, like Messenger... like 1 Day of Peace, or a Deslakuta for pluses, or anything that you think you may need. You can side that out. You can search it out with Gold Sark, so I might do that. But for now, you have dualities and the upstarts, so that you can thin the deck and then search for this a lot easier, so it's not too much, and you have Deslakuta to go through your deck faster. So this is amazing. But yeah, it's a really fun deck. It's so funny to see your opponent like get all these cards over you and have all these beefy monsters, and they just can't do anything about it because you have so much stuff to stop attacks, and it's hilarious. And then like they clear your field somehow by MSTing in the end phase and smashing a Reaper or something, and then you're like, attack, 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 and then you drop a Fader or a Scarecrow, and they're like, shit. And they try again next turn, like, okay, I'll, Dark Hole your Fader, or, like, get a Dark Arm Dragon out, and I'll pop your Fader, and I'll attack, another Swift Scarecrow, or, like, they'll I'll set a threatening, and then they'll MST it, and the top of their turn, I'll be like, okay, chain threatening. And, oh shit! And so deck is freaking amazing. Like I said, it's stupid consistent. It's really, really consistent. So anyway, this is a lot of fun. The side deck is pretty much just all, it's all hate, pretty much. That's basically all it is. You have the smashings in there to destroy monsters. You have the MSTs to destroy back rows. You have Dark Hole, Heavy Storm. It's all just hate and destruction because your opponent's not going to really expect it next turn. Unless you played Final Countdown before, you don't really know to expect that. So it's very good. Anyway, that was the deck of Final Countdown. Like I said, please don't hate me because I played this deck, okay? It's not like I'm not going to take this to regionals. I'm basically using it because it's fun. And, you know, I've been dueling really crazy hard and serious with Watts and TGs and Chainburn that I want to have some fun for a little bit and play Final Countdown. I also need turbo packs, so this is a really easy way to get turbo packs. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised how many duels you'll win with this deck. It's awesome. Like I said, it's not the very final version. I'm still tweaking it just a little bit, like by adding the Gold Sarks, and the side deck needs like the Tragodias and the third smashing, and you know, things that I'm experimenting with, that I'm, you know, seeing how they work. But the deck actually does really well against things like Inzectors and Agents because everything that they try to pop is chainable. So all the advantage that they get over you means nothing because you can just Fader and Swift Scarecrow your way out of all your shenanigans, and then you have the Desolate. The only thing when you're dueling Inzectors is you do not set like Reaper, Marshmallow, Desolate Cuda first turn ever unless you know exactly what you're playing. Do not set those cards that can be popped and used to your disadvantage because you didn't read, you know, you set a Marshmallow or play Swords first turn, and they're like, okay, I'll summon Dragonfly, and then you're like, no, they're gonna get a freaking, you know, you don't care about Zen mains, but you do care about losing your card by it being popped so early. Like you don't want that. You don't want to have to use a Fader when you didn't need to. So don't set Swords and, you know, play Swords and set your Marshmallow and Spirit Reaper stuff, you know, so eagerly. You know, wait till you see what you're playing. Look at your opponent's graveyard. You know, check if they've used warnings. Check if they've used MSTs. Check if they have agents for food for Hyperion. Things like that. Okay, so you gotta just be smart about what you play with the deck. But otherwise, I'll make another video after this weekend to let you guys know how it goes, like I always do. Watts are in the works right now. I'm still testing them. There's some issues with the Watts. Hopefully in a couple weeks, Shriek will get the ban list, and we'll be so happy when Hornet goes to 1. I don't know if you guys heard either, but Tour Guide is getting reprinted. You can go see Deck Style and Enigma or something for that. But yes, Tour Guide is getting reprinted, and it's awesome. So that's great. Otherwise, thanks for watching my deck list. Wow, this video is like so long. I really apologize for the length of the video. Just go through the deck list and rewind. Just fast forward through stuff. But anyway, thanks for watching, and more videos coming to you guys soon.